Positive benefits to this. Number one, if you are Google screened, what that means is that you've gone through a somewhat rigorous vetting process. You'll apply for Google Screen to Google, and they will do some checks. They'll do a background check. They're going to check your real estate license. They want to check and make sure that you are in position to be recommended by Google as a reputable member of the real estate community in New Jersey. Okay. And once they give you that designation, they will give you that green check and say that you are Google screened, and they will add you to the list of Google screened agents. All right. So there's some real benefits to that, and it is absolutely free. Now, don't forget, Google's also in the business of making money with their search engine. And because of that, they have what they call local ad services. Now, if you went and took the extra step of going through Google Ads on top of your Google screen, what they will do then is they will literally put your ad-driven content at the top of even the Google screen page. And I'll show you that when we get back on to the live internet. So I just wanted you to see, and it's not for everybody. Okay. So it's great for companies like real estate agencies, lawyers, financial planners, massage therapists, psychotherapists, people that do professional services, if you will. All right. Now, if you're a contractor, if your husband or wife has a contracting business, electrical, plumbing, carpentry, there's another feature that they can use. It's called Google Guarantee. They go through the same processes. They make sure that you're licensed. They make sure that you're insured. They make sure that you're recommended. They go through an extensive vetting process, because if you're Google guaranteed, what that also adds is that if you provide services for someone that got your name through Google and you failed to live up to the standards that were guaranteed to that consumer, Google could very well give that consumer a financial reward. And there's a big investigation process with that. And trust me, you don't want to mess around with that, because if you lose your guaranteed status, that's not going to be something that's good for you. So, so that's Google Guaranteed. But for professional service providers such as realtors, Google Screen is the way to go. All right. Now, let me go back very quickly so you can see what it looks like. I'm going to go back to Google Screen. And here we go. So let me go back one little step here. And we're on the same page, real estate agent, Morristown, New Jersey. Here are the Google Screen agents. All right. Now, how did these top three guys get here? If I click on more real estate agents, you'll see the rest. Okay. You'll see the rest. These people have gone through the process of being vetted, and they made it to the top of that page. And you'll see this on most areas when you're searching for a real estate agent or something to that effect. Now, let me show you what it meant to be sponsored. All right, over here where it says clicked on sponsored, I'm going to click on that little I, and it's going to tell us what it means if you've actually invested in Google local services ads. It says these results show select local businesses that serve your area. Businesses displayed above the blue horizontal separator pay Google to appear in these results. Those with the Google Screen badge are screened. Terms and policies: if you click on to call an advertiser through local services, the call is routed through Google. Learn more about call data. Now, what that means is that if you were to click on call, or if a consumer were to click on call from this page, the call to you is routed through Google first. All right. Now, that's how they're able to screen and guarantee, right? Because if there's ever an investigation, they can go back and look at the transaction or the communication. That's what they want to do. But there's benefits to this. So if I clicked on call right here, and I was calling this agent, this call would route through Google and get to this agent. And the interaction would be recorded. So if I ever had a problem with Mr. Russo and I complained to Google, then Google would go back and look at the interaction that I had and say, okay, I understand that this person promised A and delivered B, you see? So that's what they want to do. And that's why being Google screened is such an important part of this process. Now, it's, to me, I would say it's 99% positive, because they're going to give you top billing on the search result page. It's going to give you your ratings. It's going to show you how many years they've been in business. It's going to give all kinds of information. And if I were to click on that agent, it's going to open up their Google business profile. You see? It opened up their profile. So I'm able to see everything that I need to see about this person. You need to be on this page. Okay? Now, in the handout, when on the page that says Google Screen and explains what the Google Screen process is, there's a link down there. All you have to do is copy it and paste it into your browser, and it will take you to the application page for how to qualify to be Google Screen. And at that point, it just takes a couple of days. Now, let's talk about what it means to have a Google business profile page. Well, many of you already have one and may not have done anything with it. If not, start here. Go to google.com/business. It will take you to this page. And if you have a Gmail account, you already have the ability to sign in. You just use your username and your password, and it will take you to your Google business profile page. Now, it will take you to a page like this. This is your profile manager. And at this point, this menu on the left side will give us the different areas that we get to add content. Content is king, ladies and gentlemen. The Google algorithm is looking for content. The more content that it can find, the more up to date that content is. And if it is quality in its delivery, it's going to impress the Google algorithm. And this is how you get pushed up closer and closer to the top of the first page. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is, when you're creating your Google business profile, is to start over here with info. And you have to add your information. Now, many of the things that you do on the left side will not be able to be completed unless and until you do this. You fill in your basic information, and then you add your office address. Now, there's something to be said about that. If your office is your home office, that's perfectly okay. You can add your home office here. Now, what Google's going to do at that point is they're going to either allow you to verify by phone, by email, or by postcard. If they choose to send a postcard to you, they will send it by mail. And when you receive the postcard, it will have a link on it. You go to that link, and once you go and log into that link, it will verify your address, and then it will allow you to go ahead and complete your profile. Okay, but that has to be done first. Now, there has been some issues in the past. I think they've worked them out, where if you were an agency, you were an agent and you're working out of the agency's office. So if you're working out of the agency office and you go in and you put in the address, it'll come back and say this office address has already been taken by another agent. More than likely it was the broker or the owner of the business. Then you simply go in and say, look, I'm a practitioner in this office. And they had to make this update because many companies, many businesses, realtors work out of the same office. If you're a massage therapist, you might work out of a medical building that has the same address. And so they had to be able to give that capability. So I don't think you'll run into that pushback like we once did. But if you are using your home address as your office address. That's perfectly fine too. However, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you request not to display your home address and to designate that you deliver services out of your office, away from your office. So that means that for the most part, clients do not come to your home. You come to them, which is perfectly fine. Okay? That way, your home address will not display on your Google business profile. You see, if you were to go and Google my name and you look up my Google business profile, because my office is in my home, you will not see my home address. What you will see is that I am located in the Atlanta area, but it will not display my specific home address. Okay? So that's what you want to do. And then once you've been verified as your office address and whatnot, then you go through the process of adding all of this information. So these are the kinds of things that you have the capability of doing. You can create posts like you do in social media. You're having an open house. You have a video that you want to post. Any of your Facebook or Instagram or TikTok videos that you've talked about the industry or about qualifying for loans or whatever it is, or about the marketplace that you serve, you have the ability of posting that content on your Google business profile directly, and people will be able to see it. You see? So you would simply click on posts and then come in and say, well, okay, I want to create a new one, and then add your posts. So you can create offers, right? You have an event. I have an open house. You want to put your open house here? It's going to type in open house. You got a photo of the property. You've got the information there. You can even have a place where you can add more details, and you can add a button that says something like RSVP, learn more, call now, sign up. You see, and people will be able to see that right there on the search results when they click on your name in Google search results, and they can engage with you. So all of these things are here. So you could create a post like this in Facebook, create a post like this in Instagram, create a post like this in TikTok or LinkedIn, and do one in your Google Business Profile Manager. You see? So that's what you want to do. You want to be able to fill in this information as much as you possibly can. So let's go back to the info when you're creating your information about your profile. You see, mine says no location, deliveries and home services only. You see, and I can change that and bring people to my home, but I'm not going to change that. Okay, it does show my service area, and so in this case, you can put in all of your service areas in a list. So not just Morristown, but all the other communities that you provide services. You have that capability. And so you can put in all the locations that you serve, all the hours that you have, and all the hours in which you operate. All right. So you have all of this information. You have links to your website, links to your Twitter, links to your other social media if you want. And then you put in your services. So if you have more than just professional real estate, if you do real estate, commercial, you're expert in condos or something to that effect, you're a green realtor, you're a high-tech realtor, all of that, you can put that information in here along with all of your other descriptive information. This is where people get to learn about who you are and what you do right there from the Google My Business profile screen. Okay, that's what this is all about. All right, so let me come back and ask any questions again. I want to come back and find out if we have any questions before I move forward. So let me go back to I want to stop the desktop share. Okay, so in the question here, it says, my Google Business page is suspended and has been that way since COVID, and I haven't been able to get it unsuspended. Any advice? Yes, George. Email me directly. Remind me that this is what you want to do, and I will help you get that information. I will give you some direction as to how you can get your page back up and going. Okay. We first of all we have to talk about what happened, and from there we'll talk about how we can get your page back up. Amy asks, is this free or is there a cost? This is 100% free, Amy. You don't have to pay for any of these services, right? Anything in the Google universe, whether it's Gmail, Calendar, Drive, any of that, including Google Business Profiles, you should not have to pay anything to use these services, all right? All right. Is Google Screen recommended for new agents? Tammy, I would say yes, because all they're going to do is all they want to do is know that you are a legitimately positioned person in the market. So if you have a license, they're going to check it, right? And they're going to be able to identify you from that information. And so you will be able to be Google Screen and be pushed up toward the top. Now, again, I want to talk a little bit more about how to get to the top and why those agents are at the top and not you. All right. So I want to go back to the presentation here. So let me get back to the presentation. And all right. So let me scroll down a little bit, and I want to focus on what's called SEO, search engine optimization. I want to talk about a little bit about the science, because this is going to be very, very important to the process. Okay, that you know how this works. Okay, now when it comes to SEO, there's two different kinds of searches. I showed you what they were: the natural searches, which would be what we saw with the Google Screen and the Google Business Profile. And then we see the natural, organic, or earned results. That's what we've been used to seeing all these years, the links, if you will. And based upon how your situation is presented will determine where you are positioned, whether you're going to be part of the Google Business Profiles. Of course, that has everything to do with having an account. And number two, about your keywords and how you are positioned to be able to receive recognition from the algorithm. All right, now let's talk about that. Okay, so these are the three top criteria to getting closer to the top, getting to the top of the page, and what Google is looking for. Number one, Google is looking for content. Okay, content is king. The more content that you can provide, the more up-to-date that content is. And if it's laser focused toward the market in which you are positioning yourself, the better off you'll be, and the better the algorithm will be able to discover you, like you, and be impressed by you, and push you up the ranks. Okay. Number two are links. Okay. We'll talk about what links are and how valuable they are and what they can do for you in getting pushed up the ranks. Again, what we're talking about right here is free. This is above and beyond anything that you pay for in Google local ad services. That's why I meant that you can do all of this on your own, and it's easy, and you can get pushed up toward the top organically. All right. Google local ad services may be an investment that you may find valuable to you. You don't have to do it. If you do what I'm suggesting here, you may not have to. That's the point. Okay. The third criteria is what's called the rank brain. Now, this is the algorithm. This is the artificial intelligence that Google uses to provide results to the customer. All right. Thinking of it like this: the person that does the search query is the customer of Google. If they're looking for a restaurant in a particular area, or a museum, or a shoe repair shop, whatever, Depending upon what they type, the results come back based on the keywords that they type in the search engine. Okay? That's their customer. What they want to provide them is with the most up-to-date, relevant, and laser-focused information for their area. And that's where you come in. Because if you have that information and it's up to date, it's laser focused, the keywords are right there, then Google's going to see you and it's going to push you up to their customer because they want to satisfy that customer's need. Okay? Content is king. That's my point. Whether your content is coming out of Gmail, out of Google Calendar, out of Google Drive, all of which so far have an online, publicly capable technology. You can make calendar events public. You can make documents public. You can make Google Sites public. They may not get seen in the results because they may be way down on the screen, but the algorithm is not looking for how to market that. They're looking for the content. And the more content they see from you, the better off you're going to be. So if you've got Google Photos out there in the public space, if you've got YouTube videos in the public space, if you've got social media in the public space, all of that is going to count toward content. Content is everything to the search system. Okay? Now, I don't want to get into all the real technology of it all, but this is what it's about. And it talks about how it does what it does using what's called semantic search and query context. And it's basically looking at the relationship between words. Remember, when I typed in real estate agent, it looked for real, it looked for estate, it looked for agent separately. But then it looked at the relationship between the words and it said, okay, I'm only going to put in real estate agents because of the relationship between the words. It didn't look for a secret agent, if you will, okay, because of the relationship between the words. All right. Now, what about the links? Links or backlinks are very valuable tools. Let's say that the local TV station, their website, did an article on you. You're a realtor and you're outspoken and you've been talking about the industry, or if there's something going on between commercial development and residential development, and they interviewed you and they put you in the online content. If they put your website address or your social media address or any link that can be connected directly to you, that is called a backlink. All right. As long as it can be clicked and it will go to you, it's called a backlink. And I'm telling you, it is absolute platinum when it comes to its value in the marketplace, in the algorithm, because here's a third party that's endorsing you. So when the algorithm sees this, it's going to find it and it's going to absolutely love it. The more of those you have, the better off you can be. If you're mentioned in a blog, or if you even write your own blog, make sure that you put a backlink in there that leads back to you. Okay? Anything that has a link that is not directly on your site already is a backlink, and it is going to be to your benefit. If it's going back to your website, or in this case, to your social media as well, or to your Google business profile page. Those are called backlinks, and they are absolute gold. Okay? So how do you get backlinks? Well, again, a trusted authoritative site leading back to your site. If the text that they're typing, it contains a keyword that links back to your information, that is a backlink. Make sure that the anchor site is topically related to your site. So you don't want to get a blog from an auto mechanic that's going to lead back to your site, okay? Because it's not topically related. If it's a news agency, or if it's a real estate related agency, a mortgage banker, anything related to the finance, anything that could be related somewhat to the real estate industry, some kind of way, that would be considered topically available. But anything else, you don't want. Google's algorithm actually will frown upon that if they see that. Make sure that the link is called a do follow link. And all that simply means is that if somebody clicked on it, it would lead back to your site. It's an active link. Okay. And so you want to be able to get these. So if you know sources of people who have blogs, who have sites that can add links to you that lead back to you, use them, utilize them, because the algorithm will love to find them, and it will definitely give you a distinct advantage. Okay. All right. Let me move on. Okay. Let's see here. Let me get back to where we are here. Okay. Now, keywords. Very, very important. And see, this is why I wanted to get my other page up, because I added something to the page that should be here. And for some reason, it disappeared. Let me see here. Oh, I want to pull up the other presentation, the one that I originally put up when I first got here. Somehow it disappeared, but let's see if it's going to allow me to use it again. It's going to upload again. The reason why I wanted to pull this page up is because, as I mentioned at the top of the class, I've added content to this slide deck. It's on the handout. So when you get the handout, I guarantee you that it's there, and you'll be able to see the added content. And what I did was I put up a list of keywords. Those keywords are everything, ladies and gentlemen. And the keywords are basically like we talked about when a person does an organic search in Google. I don't know why it disappeared like that. When they do a when they do a search in Google, the words that they use and the relationship, that is a big part of how the algorithm or the technology, the artificial intelligence that Google uses to find your information. The keywords are everything. Okay. Now, what are keywords or key terms? All right. So let's say that in your Google Calendar, you're creating an open house, and when you're setting up the event in your calendar, in the place where you can type in remarks, okay, you can make comments about what the property looks like. You could talk about where it's located. You can say it's near the center of town, or it's near the university, or it's walking distance to the top-rated hospital. Every word that you type is a keyword. And when the Google algorithm searches through the internet for keywords or related keywords, and they group them together, it's going to find that even in your Google Calendar, it's related to your account, and it's going to push your overall content up. You see, and that's in the calendar. If we go over to Google Drive and you open up what they call Google Sites, and this is why I hope that we get a chance to revisit these in the Google Bootcamp, because you'll really love it. You can create a separate single page website for each of your listings, complete with photographs, video, audio, content, links, everything that you want. And these can be seen if someone were to type in that address in Google, in a Google search, your Google site will become part of the search results. Okay. But whether or not it's seen is not the most important part. The part that the algorithm gets to see it will actually drive the business in your direction, because it's going to push you up on the search results. That is the key. Okay. So the more different types of keywords that you use, the better off you are. Now, I'm going to give you a little tip. You won't see this in the handouts, and I'm going to qualify it right now, because It might sound a little sneaky, all right? But this is a dog eat dog business. We want to make sure that we get seen, all right? So let's say that you are of the Star Agency or Star Realtors. That's the name of your brand, okay? And the other brand is called Pluto. When you are typing in your keywords, or you're putting in descriptions in your calendar, or putting descriptions in on your sites, or in your photos, when you're putting in content, you're typing in keywords, you could say that the Star brand is rated higher than the Pluto brand. Now, what have you done by doing that? By adding the name Pluto, if someone does a Google search and they say, I'm looking for a Pluto realtor in Morristown, New Jersey, you become part of the search result because the word Pluto or Pluto realtors is in your keywords. Nobody sees it because it's built into your content. But the fact that it's there gives you the capability of attracting people that maybe somebody else, they're trying to find a different brand. You'll see that in many cases. I'll give you an example. Let me go back to the desktop share. So I'm having a little problem with the slide deck. I'll give you an absolute. All right. So let's say I'm going to put in KW real estate agents in Morristown, New Jersey. All right. So let's type in Keller Williams. See, it should actually be there. All right. Am I having an issue here? All right. Let's start a new search. I'm going to start a new search. All right, here we go. See? And it pulls up Keller Williams Metropolitan, Morristown, New Jersey, KW Metropolitan, and it's pulling up all these KW agents, right? Let's keep going. And let's see if anybody was able to do it. Now, it doesn't look like anybody's done it when I typed in KW, but it's a very possible fact that maybe you would see it on page 2, where you might see an agent from a different organization may pop up. A Better Homes and Gardens organization may pop up, a link. Why? Because that company, when they were typing in their keywords, they mentioned KW. They mentioned Keller Williams. You see? Now, they didn't say they didn't put Keller Williams in there to associate. They may have said that in this marketplace, we do more business than this company, whether or not it's true. But the fact that they put those 2 words in their link, in their content, could possibly bring them up into this page. You see? So that's one way that you can get noticed even when people are more specific. You see? All right. So I want to show you one of the more successful Google My Business pages. This is actually one of my clients. This is my client, Rubina Riono. She's in Palos Verdes, California. And I actually monitor her page for her, and she just sends me the content and I update it for her. All right. So we put in all of her information, and she gets 5-star ratings all day long. And every month I get an overview of what her month's activity has been, how many engagements she's gotten from this page, how many times people have clicked the links. All of those kinds of metrics come out of this, and that would tell you how effective your page is. So that's what you want to do. You want to be able to get people to engage with you by finding you. So if I just typed in her name, I didn't put in Keller Williams or anything else. I just typed in her name. But if I typed in Keller Williams, Palos Verdes, all right, it's pulling up all of these other, it's pulling up the area, okay? But I can verify, I can guarantee you that she's on this page. Now, she is not part of, you don't see any Google screen here. Notice that? That means that the people in this market have not done so. And I told Rubina that she needs to go ahead and get that done. But this is what pops up. You see, Google screen agencies did not pop up. Or I could just put in realtors. Now, when I type in realtors, I bet I get some. See, there we have them, right? So what I want you to do is I want you to do the same thing that I'm doing. I want you to practice using different words, different terms, different keywords in the search engine and see what the responses are. And from that, you'll be able to see how important it is to write the right keywords in. And then when you look on the handout, which you've gotten from me, down toward the one of the last few pages, I put in 4 pages of keywords and key terms. And you can use those when you're typing in your content. When you're writing and describing your business, if you're writing and talking about what you do and how you do it and where you do it and when you do it, you want to put these terms in there because the Google algorithm, the rank brain, which is what it's called, is going to look at that information and it's going to decide whether or not it wants to push you up toward the top of the list based on the content that is there. Okay. All right. So let me come back to the room chat and see if there's any more questions that have popped up. Alexandra says, my Google business page still shows the old broker firm I used to be. How can I get either updated or deleted? That can be done too, Alexandra. And I'm going to tell you the same as I did before. Email me and I will give you the steps on how to either update the page or to delete it and start your new page. It's easy. You said you did. Okay, good. I will follow up with you and I'll make sure that we get to the steps and we'll get it done. Okay. All right. Any more questions? All right. Mitch says, hi, will this recording be sent out? Well, you'll have to talk to the North Central Jersey Association of Realtors because they are doing the recording and they are the owners of this. And so just give them a contact and find out if you'll be able to get the recording. Okay. Simpy says, is there a handout to guide us through a step-by-step process? Yes. If you sent me the email, you already have it. And I gave you step-by-step on how to create your Google business page, how to update your Google business page, and how to promote and put and have it put up on the Google search. Kirk asks, can I transfer my Google number from one account to another Google account I own? The answer is yes, Kirk, but there's a science to it. So do me a favor, email me, and I will show you how it's done. Okay. The other number, the other account cannot have a Google number associated yet. Okay. So if you haven't done that, then it's possible. If you've already assigned a number to it, it's going to be more difficult than probably than it's worth. All right. So do that. All right. So let's see. Laura says, my posts all get, quote, rejected, unquote. There's no fair housing issues. Simply shows an open house date, time, etc. All right, let's see here. I have a client who has submitted a review twice and over a month ago, and it has not been added. How do I contact a human at Google to discuss, please? All right, I got 2 answers for you. Number 1, in order to get around the open house issue for the events, what you can do is Number one, you can create the event in your calendar. Create a link for the event in your calendar, and then put the link on your Google Business profile page and just say, link to my open house, and click on that. It'll take them to the calendar event information. All right. It's nothing that would come, even though it's on your calendar, there's no private information that will be displayed. It's only publicly displayed information. Okay. All right. And as far as getting reviews, that has been a problem. I hear this on occasion where people have said to me that they've gotten reviews submitted and they don't see them. That's something with the algorithm that has been in Google. And I have actually put out a query for that myself. I haven't gotten a response yet, but I promise that when I do, I will share that information. But yes, that is not isolated to your account. That seems to be happening kind of across the board with in some cases, not all cases, but some. Okay, so how do I contact a human on Google Business to discuss? Well, ever since COVID-19, it's been more and more difficult to talk with people at Google specifically. You can go into the help and you can type in your question or your query, and there's an automatic system that will try to answer your question. If you continue to insist to get some human interaction, at some point you'll be able to type out a message and a human will read it and get back with you. But odds are you won't get to talk to anybody at this point. It used to be, but at this point it's become very, very difficult to actually get a human voice, especially on the free accounts. Now, if you are a Google Workspace user, and that's part of the Google universe, I talk about what Google Workspace is. It's the enterprise version of the Google apps. And with that, you get 24/7 live support. And there have been times that I've gotten stumped on certain things that I would actually just go into help, and within a couple of minutes, I'll have somebody call me and walk me through a process. And even with questions I have on the free accounts. So, but that's because I am a Workspace user and I do pay for that subscription. But for the free accounts, the ones that we talk about, that's going to be rare. All right, Elizabeth says, you haven't mentioned how we should name the pictures in order for them to be optimized, because the search engine optimization doesn't read pictures. Well, actually, Elizabeth, you can when you name the photos. So if your photo comes up with a string code .jpg, rename those photos. You can name them. Let's say if it's an address, name it by the address or the zip code, or the address and zip code, and then make it photo 1. The next one's photo 2, same address, that kind of thing. Yes, the Google algorithm will find them. Now, the secret to that is if you're using Google Photos, for example, you create an album of listing photos. Let's say you've got 50 photos of a listing in an album. You have to make that album publicly available. If it's just private to your account, Google will see it, but it won't be able to use it because it's private to your account. But if you make that album publicly available, at that point, it can be used. And the keywords do count. So if you need some more information on that, email me and I'll walk you through that process. But the SEO, the algorithm system, it really does. It reads the photos. In fact, it reads the descriptions of your tags. If you've got multiple tabs on your website, you can talk to the person that creates your website for you. When they put in descriptions of what that tab should be, the words that they type in there, those are keywords as well. Everything that's a digital footprint that is on the internet is keywords. Plain and simple. All right. And the people who are really good at this, they know where to put the keywords and which keywords to use to optimize your opportunity to get pushed up to the top. Now, again, there are other criteria that come into play. For example, in organic search results, your website more than likely will never beat Zillow. It'll never beat Realtor.com. Why? Because you simply don't get the traffic. And that's one of the criteria that they use to display the order in which they display search results. You simply will not get that kind of traffic. However, up-to-date, relevant, and targeted content in all of your spaces aggregated. Gmail, Calendar, Drive, Photos, YouTube, Google Business Profiles, all that together counts. And so that does help push you up. Again, it won't push you up above Zillow or Realtor.com, but it will push you up as to the first page if it's done properly. And it's done, and you maintain it, you keep it updated. That's the important part. Okay. All right. So let me come back to the file one last time. And I am just completely stumped on why it won't show me the pages that I'm looking for. But I want to put these last few up. This is what I want you to see. Okay, all right, let's move forward here. And this is what I want you to see. These are the keywords. You have multiple pages of these. And I want you to go down that list and see these keywords and key terms. And I want you to find different ways that you can use them in social media, in blogs, on your sites, in your Google content. All of these are the magnets to bring you and your customers together. Now, I want you to be very aware of the fact that, let's say here, it says foreclosure and foreclosures. The plural is separate from the singular. That's because they're two separate words, two separate keywords. And the algorithm sees them as such. So you can actually use them both if you have a creative way of creating a little paragraph that uses them, and the algorithm will see them both and scoop you up because of that. You see, this is very beneficial. Here's more. Find ways of using these keywords, and this is the golden ticket toward getting high rankings in the search engine and getting recognized. Now, if you do a combination of this, and I'm not going to tell you that you have to use Google ad services or anything like that, but let me show you. Let me go back to the page back to the desktop one more time, and I want to show you something here. Go back to my Google business page. And right here on mine, it says that I have a free $500 advertising credit. Okay. You may see $500. You may see $100. It just depends. That used to say $100 on mine. That's why I say that. But you can do an inquiry. Click on claim your credit. Now with this, you will talk to a live person. And what they will do is they will give you step by step on how this process works and how you can get to become sponsored. You'll get to the top of the page because the Google ad services, and you'll see that little word ad next to your listing, next to your links, which means you've paid for that little screen real estate. And if you're Google screen, you'll be at the top of that list as well. Okay. Now, the way that this system works is really kind of unique. If you invest, let's say you invest $500 in Google ad services, none of that money gets used unless and until someone clicks on your link. When they click on the link, they subtract a few bucks. But the money doesn't move until somebody engages with you. So actually that's beneficial. So not only do you get the space up there where you're not being charged for being high up on the list, if someone clicks on you, that's an opportunity for them to engage with you. And at that point, yes, you will be charged. But in this case, they're giving me $500 to try them out. So if I go through the $500 and I see where it was really beneficial, then I already know it's worth me investing another couple of $100 if that's going to work for me. If it's not, then I've gone through their money and I didn't spend any of my own. So it's always worth the opportunity. So if you want to click on, let's say, claim your credit, for example, what they'll do is you'll get this little information going right here. And at that point, you can chat with a Google Chat expert, or you can call them for setup help. And in this case, as I said, you will get to talk to a live human being. But the key is they will give you step-by-step information on whether or not it's something that would be beneficial to you. Okay. Now we're getting down to the end. And as I said, this is why the handout is so important, because I simply cannot go over every step in 60 to 90 minutes. This is really, really comprehensive information. And the more I can get this information to you, the better off we can be. All right, so let me get back to my files here. All righty. And let me get to the last part of this. Okay. And these are called tips to optimize your. Oh, wait a minute. There's a couple more questions. All right. Can I link my Facebook page to my Google business page? Yes, you can. It's part of the setup. You go into the setup page and you put in your Facebook, and it will do that. You can also put in your LinkedIn. You can also put in your Instagram, and they haven't put in one for TikTok yet, but I would imagine that should be coming soon, because TikTok actually has pushed itself up to be one of the top social media outlets in the world. And then someone asked, Virginia's asked, what is my email address, please? I'm going to put that up on the screen again in just a moment. And she also asked, can you help in any way with the FB frozen account, Facebook frozen account? I can try and help you out with that. I'm not the expert in the social media space, but email me that, Virginia, and I'll see what I can do to help you. That's what I'm here for. All right. But anyway, here's one way that you can do your website to optimize it, to make it more compatible for the Google algorithm, because the way that system works, they send out a crawler, and all it does 24 hours a day, 7 days a week is go through websites, web pages, and it's collecting data, recording, looking at issues, looking at photographs, looking at the names of those photographs, looking at your tabs, looking at the descriptions of your tabs, recording keywords, and it's sorting that information out. That's all it does. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It hands that information off to the rank brain. The rank brain looks at it for the quality, the quantity, and the relevance. And from that, it determines whether or not you would go on page 1, page 2, and so forth. So it's the rank brain that's actually making the choices. The crawler or the Google bot is actually doing the recording. So for your website, understand metadata and use it properly. Now, don't let that big word choose for you. Metadata basically is the keywords. Like I said, you can put descriptions in your tabs. Make sure that the words or the wording in your website is relevant, and it's going to associate with what you do. Use those keywords that I just showed you, those key terms that are on this page in your website. That's going to make it attractive to the Google bot which will pass it off to the RankBrain. You want to avoid duplicate content, so you don't want to have two web pages on your website to be the same. All right, Google kind of frowns on that. So if you have a second page that looks like a single page, just go in and make some changes to it. Add different content, add different images and what have you, and make it a different page, and then give it a separate name, of course. And then if you have reviews, you have testimonials, ones you've copied from Zillow or from other sites that you have on your website, please go ahead and update those and showcase them. Let people see what people are saying about you, even on your website. The Google bot's going to see that, and it's going to push you up, especially if they're using the right words. All right. And as far as getting people to put reviews on your Google My Business page, there's a link inside your settings page that will allow you to copy that link, email it, text it to whomever, and say, will you please update or send or share a review on my Google My Business page? And when they click on the link, it will take them directly to your Google Business page, reviews, with the open box for them to write the dialogue in, give you as many stars as they want, and to type in whatever they want. Now, with that being said, I think it's important that with every person that sends you a review, that you reply, you respond. Let people know that are reading your reviews that you are engaged with the people who are taking the time to review. You're taking the time to reply, even ones that may not be so flattering. If someone says, I only gave you 1 star because I called you on Monday and you didn't get back with me on Wednesday until Wednesday or Thursday, then you let them know, I apologize for the delay, personal issues, whatever. But I promise if you contact me, I'll get right back with you. And if there's anything I can do, whatever you can say to try to let other people know that you're engaged with people, whether they're giving you 5 stars or 1 star, make sure that you do that. Okay. All right. Understand the backlinking. That is a very, very important part of your SEO, because if third-party websites, third-party online digital sources, content is connected with you in that process, the RankBrain really likes that. It really does. And so it's going to help you to push up quickly. And stay on top of your activity. Make sure that you at least once, maybe even twice a week, make sure that your content is updating. All right. If you're not updating your website, it's okay. You're adding a photo to your Google business profile. You're adding content to your social media. All of it counts. So the more that you do, the better off that you'll be. All right. So you stay on top of your activity. Don't let your information, your content get old. If you've got YouTube videos of properties that are up on YouTube, if the property is still available and the YouTube video has been up there for 3 weeks, go to that video and in the content area, the comment area, change the words around a little bit. Add some of those keywords that I just showed you, and then save it again. It's saved as a brand new, fresh video. Okay, that's what you want, because again, I can't emphasize it more. The Google bot and the RankBrain are looking for up-to-date, relevant, and laser-targeted content related to you. The more, the merrier. And if they've got a lot of content there, they can direct people to you. And that's what you want. Okay. The last one here says submit your sitemap. Now, that's something that your webmaster can do. The person that developed your web page for you, they can do that. Now, sitemaps are not something that people see per se. It all works in the background. But what it does, it makes the Google bot's job easier, because rather than scanning all the different tabs on your website, everything is right there on one page on your sitemap. The Google bot can just go ahead and record it and move on. And it does really pay off. All right. And it also helps with the process if you ever choose to use the free Google Analytics tool, where every week, every month, you'll get up-to-date information, metrics back about your website and your content, to see how many unique visitors you've gotten, who those people are, and different information that will be relevant to you to improving your process at all times. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get into the last few minutes of Q&A. We're right at the time that we should be shutting everything down. But again, if you're staying, I'm staying. All right. So let me share this with you too. If you don't have time to do this yourself, or if it just seems a little bit too involved for you, I do have an opportunity to help you with this, and I can prepare your business profile for you. Okay. I've done it for other people, and I get very, very positive reviews from Google as to the effectiveness of their profiles. They're getting a lot of attention. They're getting pushed up on the high up on the page, and their engagement levels have been high. Every situation is different. Okay. It's all about your content. So if you have the content and you want to share it, all you'd have to do is send that content to me, and I'll update your Google business profile. It's easy. You don't really need me, right? You can do this yourself. But if you're too busy, or you don't want to do it, don't have the time, let me do it for you, and I can even monitor your page for you whenever you need it. And this is a part of the handout as well. Okay, so here's my email address again. If you didn't get the handout, this is how to get it. Send me an email to william@gwilliamjames.com. And in the subject line, simply type GBP SEO webinar. And it's going to reply with an email back from me that will have a link to the PDF version of this presentation with all of the screens, even screens that I didn't have in this presentation. And please read it carefully, go through it, because there's some very relevant information that I may have had to skip, or something that you need to review so that you can be more proficient at what it is that you do. Okay. Thank you so much, Candace. She says it was very informative. Amy says this was so good. This is why Mary and Crystal and Adria and Ella thought that this would be something that we should do again, because so many people didn't come the first time we did this presentation, and they heard that it was really informative and it was valuable. And so I'm glad that you were able to come. And I'm glad that, that the NCJAR team saw the benefit in this, and I will come back and do it as often as I possibly can. Now, one thing we did last year that was really good was we did the Google Universe Bootcamp, which is actually a whole series. This is one of the topics in the series, but I teach you how to use Gmail like a pro, things that you've never learned that Gmail can do for you. Google Calendar, use all the tools in Drive. If you've got Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, and you're paying for Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, trust me, you don't need it. You don't need to pay for it, because Google has all the tools right there. They'll even take what you already have in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, and you can use those files too. So you don't even have to update them. And I've been making this presentation. My slides were all presented in Google Slides. They were created in PowerPoint, but I've been able to present them in Google Slides, and you would never know the difference. And the benefit of using it is so vastly different than what you do in Microsoft. So I teach you how to use the equivalent of Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, how to create questionnaires, how to send out all different kinds of things using the Google tools, how to create single page websites for your listings. There's so many things that you can do in Google for absolute free that you need to learn. Tammy says, thank you so much. I love all of your presentations. I'm so humbled to hear that. Thank you. Thank you. I'll be needing your help. Paulcia, please just give me an email. That's what I put it up there for, because I want you to have this information, and I am very generous about it. You ask me a question, I am here to answer the question. And Jeff, I appreciate you, and same to you, Jacqueline. This is always fun for me. Okay. So again, keep in contact with me, the website, the email, and there's my social media. Now I'm gonna make my confession here. I am not the greatest when it comes to my content in social media. So I actually got to the point where I have a social media manager now, and that person is going to help me to put up content in Twitter and Facebook, LinkedIn, in more YouTube videos, and in my Instagram. And yes, TikTok. I actually have a TikTok account now. I have not used it yet because I have no clue as to what to do with it, but I'm going to learn, and I'm going to be much more proficient with it. So, can I share their contact? Can you share their contact information? Jacqueline, email me and remind me, and I will do that. Actually, I hired my daughter. Anybody under 25 are pros at this. Okay, they're absolute pros, and so I got her to agree to be my social media manager. She's a college student. She needs money. So yes, she will be glad to take on new clients. Okay. All right. So listen, everybody, thank you. I always feel like I didn't do enough. And sometimes I feel like I turned a fire hose on when I should have been using the sprinkler. But that short period of time is all I have. But I want to fill your brain up with information and inspire you to actually get in there and dig in. Okay. What you're going to discover once you start to setting up your page or you're updating your page is that it's really easy to do. But if you get stuck, you've got a co-pilot. Just drop me an email. I'll be more than happy to help you. Okay. I won't be sending you a bill. I'll just be sending you some help. Okay. So this was fun for me. I've been looking forward to it since Adrian, Crystal, and Ella put this whole thing together, and I am so glad that you all came. Let your colleagues know if they weren't here at the first two, they missed it, and we need to do it again, or we need to talk about doing the Google Universe again, because that was such fun, and it has gotten so much better, even in the last year. It has gotten so much better. It's great for your marketing, your communication, and building up your algorithm. So thank you, Ella. And so she said we'll be putting the recording up on our website and on YouTube. So there you have it. So there's the answer to that question. I look forward to seeing all of you, your questions and whatnot. And so until then, I want to say, listen, have a great, safe, and hot summer. I want you to have a successful selling season.